Hello, friends. Tonight, I'm gonna have my first guest on my podcast, the Fairman Podcast Show. My guest tonight is my teacher, my mentor, my friend. Please give it up for great and powerful Abid Aka Jack English.
Yo, what up, dude? Yo, what up? Yeah, I'm here.
So, hi
My
Abid,
name is.
how are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Thanks. What about you? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this invitation. Thank you for this great opportunity for me to be able to, go up and then and say, tell you guys what things can be useful based on my own experience and my own observations. So,
Thank you for coming,
today,
bro. Thank you for
yeah,
coming.
yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure.
I know. You
Especially,
can you can give a lot of very useful things for all followers, for all people who will listen us. So
yeah,
we
of course,
have,
it's going to be in English,
yeah,
and I
it's
believe that the you will not forget to put their some subtitles in Russian or Kazakh languages, so people
yep,
can get, like, let's say, can take full advantage
yep.
of these podcasts,
Hmm.
and they're going to be useful to some extent. And I would like to tell you that this is a really kind of, the beginning of something incredible.
Yeah, I
And I
hope.
think that probably it's going to continue in the future, and then you are going to keep doing this thing in Russian language and in Kazakh as well. So sharing people, these greatest values and ideas that other experienced individuals are coming up and sharing with you at the same time. And
Yep.
I would like to thank you that you just gave me this honor,
Yeah,
and I can have this platform to express my own views and opinions on some certain things.
yeah, yeah. You're welcome, bro. You're welcome. Always welcome. We're The reason is why I started from English is because during this quarantine, not only in quarantine, all my friends, all my mates, a lot of people have asked me about English, how to learn English, how to make it perfect. Is there any ways to make it easier, cheaper? And as your friend, I just had to ask you like several questions about English, how to learn, how to make it very good. So if you're ready, bro, what do you think? Why people right now need in English? I mean, everyone knows that English is important. Everyone knows that we need it. But if you ask someone why exactly he need, a lot of people cannot answer to this question. Now, what do you think as an English teacher? Why do we need English?
Okay, thank you. So, as an English teacher, like, I've been teaching for about 20 years now. It's a very long time, and most of my students were not even born when I gave my first English classes.
Yep.
This as a student, as a little teenager, as a grown-up man, and while I was studying nursing, I went somewhere programs which were not. This thing was, I mean, this feeling was always giving me something incredible, that that I was and I was giving them something that changed their lives, and then they were following tips,
Yep.
following that I was, I mean, doing. I was doing lessons. They were their educational daughter. I mean, these people could become like your educational children, and you could become their educational father. And these kind of feelings were always pushing me
Mm-hmm.
to teach more and more. And
Mm-hmm.
if we are coming back to your question, why we will need to learn English specifically, not Chinese. Yes, not
Yeah.
yet, not yet,
Yep.
not yet Chinese. It's going to be English all the um, uh, uh, to some point. But why do we need to learn English? So I wouldn't say that there is only one answer for this question. There are
Mm-hmm.
several factors why it is important to learn English these days, nowadays, for
Mm-hmm.
everyone. For everyone, I said, like, mm, from these, like, let's say almost toddlers, I mean, like little baby kids,
Mm-hmm.
until those grandmothers and grandfathers. Why is it important? So number one, why it is important is that because while you would like to study at school, you are going to school, like, let's say until the grade 11, and then when you finish, then you
Mm-hmm.
will have to go to university. Excuse me. About 80, 90 years ago, 100 years ago, about a century ago, it was okay to have this school education, and then that's it. You would be already, like, special. You would be
Mm-hmm.
better than other kids, other youngsters.
Mm-hmm.
And as the year goes by, I would actually call this thing as the inflation of knowledge. There are more and more smart people, smart kids, smart teenagers, smart young people, and all of these people are getting more and more in number. And now, just finishing the school was not important. I mean, it was not enough anymore. And then there is more and more need in graduating universities. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, maybe you don't really remember, but your parents do remember that their parents were telling them. I mean, your grandparents were telling them that they will have to go to university. They will have to graduate.
Yep. Have to. Mm-hmm.
Yes, they will have to. I mean, school education is not enough. Now university education is very important. But nobody was telling that you will have to go to masters. You will have to do master's degree or
Mm-hmm.
PhD and so on, so on. No, but at that time it was enough. I mean, you just graduate university and that's it. You are special.
Mm-hmm.
And then these 90s, and then these 2000, these years came up, and then they changed the world. I mean, this
Mm-hmm.
digital world, digital era. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this internet came up, and then it changed our lives. And from that perspective, now I would say that if you would like to continue, for example, your studies, let's say you would like to do masters, which is not enough
Yep.
anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and you should do PhD now. You have to be special. You have to be expert. And if you would like to continue your studies, and this is the reason number one, that you will have to learn English. That if you would like to continue your studies, which is reason number one,
Mm-hmm.
you will have to learn English and then start taking exams, IELTS exams, TOEFL, Duolingo, and other
Mm-hmm.
exams, because
Mm-hmm.
this is the language of the world. I mean, international language everywhere, including in China. In
Yep.
China, there are lots of families they are, like, giving their kids, their offspring, to kindergarten with English language. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
lots of foreigners are going to China to work there as an English teacher, even though they have no, like, let's say, educational
Quality, yes.
background. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter, as long as they are, like, native speakers. They go and teach everyone English because they know that this is the language of future, the language of the world. This is the beginning of all those interesting things which are going to happen in your life. So that's why I would say that the first reason to learn English is what? Again, it's to study.
But
Second, yeah,
but you said that Chinese language is also like getting more popular, and in this
I would say
time,
that very.
no, I mean, what do you think? Could Chinese language replace English one day?
I would say yes, but not as the way of English language. I wouldn't say so,
Mm-hmm.
because from one perspective, that Chinese language is very important. Because what? Because you would like to communicate with Chinese people specifically.
Yeah.
But English language is very important to specifically communicate with all other world. I mean, the rest of the world,
Mm-hmm.
including China. I mean, Chinese people do know, do speak English if
Yeah.
they need it. I mean, if they are educated, if they are, like, let's say, successful people, they
Mm-hmm.
definitely speak English. And having this knowledge of Chinese language is not that much important if you, unless you are trying to speak to Chinese people. I mean, if you are dealing with them, like doing some businesses, then no problem with that.
Yeah.
But I would say that if you would like to be successful, if you would like to be a global citizen, if you would like to belong to the world, but not belong to Samal or Baraholka Bazaar, or I would say Kaskelian Kalkaman area. No, I mean, if you would like to think that you belong to the world, that you are the child of this Earth planet, then you will have to be able to speak to every single, like not every single, but let's say to most of the part of this world population. And most of the world population, they do speak English.
Yeah.
And that's why, from that perspective, again, as I said, the reason number one why you have to learn English is to study. If you would like to study, continue your master's degree, PhD, and the other ones, then you will have to, first of all, learn English perfectly, and then start preparing for IELTS, for TOEFL, or other English exams that you would like that you should be taking before getting admitted to specific universities.
Yep.
Next is the next reason I would say that if you would like to improve yourself, because now it's not enough like just to, like, getting this diploma and showing the people, hey guys, here's my diploma, now you can hire me. No, it's not enough. Excuse me. Now such global companies like this Google, Apple, Tesla, and the other companies,
or Huawei,
they stopped requiring higher degree diplomas from their applicants. So if you're a school kid, or if you have never studied at universities, but you are a brilliant candidate, you are genius, you have done a lot of tremendous things in this life, then believe me that you deserve it. For example, I have a friend who gave up studies after his high school, but believe me, he was one of the most genius people, the kids in my school. And this guy has never gone to any universities in his life. And now he is an engineer, a hardware engineer, and he's very talented. He's brilliant, and he's on demand. A lot of companies would like to work with him, and he's now expert at 3D printing, like kind of tools. And he's a great guy. And I would like to tell you that this thing is very important, that if you would like to improve yourself, don't just rely on your higher degree, but you would like to you would like to get some additional skills as well. And how are you going to get them? Well, YouTube is going to help you. Google is going to help you. And if you think that with the proper knowledge of Russian languages or Kazakh languages, Russian and Kazakh languages, you can get a lot of information, a lot of high quality content on the internet. But I don't think that this is right, because like approximately like 70-80% of the high quality content on the internet
in English.
Is in English. Yes, and that's why the second reason why you have to learn English is what? It is to improve yourself. If you would like to improve yourself, in addition, like coding, dancing, drawing, or some other tools that you would like to watch tutorials, you would like to read some interesting articles on these specific skills, then you do need English language.
I want to tell that you said that every useful information, it's in English, but there is a good point, not only for someone who is learning. For example, even for people who is interested in Hollywood, like in the and gossip, there are lots of information in English. There are a lot of videos on YouTube in English with for example, Brad Pitt or LeBron James. In Russian or other language, we don't have such a huge and very information in Russian.
You have some information in Russian languages. In Russian and Chinese and other.
There are few.
But the thing is, like, the high quality content is mainly it's in English language. I'm talking about the high quality now.
Yeah, it's quality.
You can find kinds of information on the internet. Any. TikTok is going to help you as well. But the thing is, if you're talking about high quality content, then you should rely on English language.
Yeah, that was second reason, yes, or third one. The second
No,
one.
that was the second one. And then
Yeah,
the
okay.
last one, the most important part is, I mean, the last and which is not the least important reason why you have to learn English is the third one. It's the improving the let's say the potentials of your brain. What
Mm,
does it mean? As you get older, you stop thinking rationally, more and more. I mean, like you start like, well, this is obviously, like this is obesity, but this is like kind of aging. You
yeah.
are you are expiring, yes, as a human being.
Hmm.
You are, let's say, expiring in terms of like biology.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what if you do not train your, let's say, body, including your brain, including
Hmm.
your intellect?
Hmm.
Well, believe me that these things are going to bring you lots of, let's say, unexpected diseases and illnesses. And
Hmm.
in terms of like, this is Parkinson's disease, which is a very hard, which is a very severe and a very dangerous disease in the West, and in the United States, that people have this illness, and then they are facing a lot of problems during their,
Hmm.
let's say, older years. But the thing is, if you would like to avoid these kind of problems, concerning your, I mean, related to your brain capacity, then you will have to learn languages, not only
Hmm.
English, but several languages. But because when you learn a new language, you start thinking in that language. So when
Hmm.
you can switch your thinking from Russian to English, from English to Turkish, from Turkish to Kazakh, from Kazakh to Chinese, from Chinese to Korean at the same time,
Hmm.
then believe me, your brain is going to be super active. And this thing is going to bring you lots of advantages as you get older.
Hmm.
So, from that perspective, studying English is one of the most important things that any man, any any person
Can
can
do.
afford. Yes, in this
Yeah.
life.
It's like training for your brain, or keep your brain in fit. Yes. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with that. I agree with that. It's
definitely.
yeah. I can also say that it's not only in the old age. It's also like for guys like me, or for my brothers who's younger than me. It will very helpful to make their brain better, smarter, and stronger.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you,
definitely.
Abi, for this very wired answer. It was very useful. But also, I have a question. You said that only like for toddlers, they even toddlers or young people can start learning English. But what I
Well,
felt,
definitely not toddlers, because toddlers are too young.
yeah, of
What do you
course,
say toddlers? Because the toddlers are like 2 or 3 years old,
yeah,
and these babies are just like, they're just learning the
just
world.
learning life.
I think, pretty much closer to that age.
Yeah, but what is
Sorry,
point?
what did you say?
What I'm telling trying to tell is that when I learned English, when I studied English, knowledge of Kazakh grammar with a combination with the Russian grammar helped me a lot to understand English grammar. I mean, I started when I was 17 or 18, right? At that age, I finished all Kazakh grammar, I finished school, I finished all Russian grammar, and it helped me to understand English grammar. For like school kids who is like 7 years old, 8 years old, who doesn't know anything about Kazakh grammar, trying to understand, trying to explain uh, English grammar, isn't it hard? I mean, maybe if like if children start learning English like not on when they're 8 years old, 10 years old, when they start learning after they finish Kazakh or Russian or their native grammar, it will easier to them. What do you think? What is best age to start learning English?
That's a very interesting question, by the way. I would say that first of all, we need to understand what kind of uh, what ways of learning languages do we know?
Uh,
What
mhm,
what is like? I mean, this is a very important question. I mean, what kind
mhm.
of ways do we
Oh,
have to
well,
learn
what is
English?
purpose also? Yes, what is goal of
I mean,
learning?
the purpose is okay. The purpose is like, it can be different.
Uh-huh.
It can be like, to enter Nazarbayev intellectual schools, to be
Yeah.
better, speak, to be different, like let's say attend these, participate in those Olympiads. So obviously we understand that this is the purpose is clear, and it's very graceful. But the thing is, what kind of ways of learning
Ah,
English do we have? I mean,
yeah,
that's the major question.
yeah.
And I would say that we have this conservative, like very traditional method of learning English, which is what you told me, that if you learn some specific grammar, like let's say Kazakh grammar or
Yeah.
Russian grammar, you start like, comparing them and learning them all together, that's going to be very useful. Well, actually, I would agree with you that you are right to some
Mhm.
extent. Why to some extent? Because this is important and this is good, this is useful and effective. I mean, effective if you
Uh-huh.
would like to study this language for a year, for 2 years,
Yeah,
for 3 years. I mean, you
yeah.
would like to study it, like, let's say, in a longer term. But if you would like to learn a language effectively, quickly, and intensively,
Yeah.
and in a very effective way in a short period of time, then you will have to understand that there is a logic. There is a logic of English
Uh,
grammar. There is a
mhm.
logic of Russian grammar. There is a logic of Kazakh grammar, which do not actually match with each other. I mean, they are
Ah, yeah.
different. So that's why you are talking about like kids, like if they have no knowledge of this Kazakh grammar or Russian grammar, how are they going to be successful in learning it? Well, first of all,
Mhm.
for these little babies, little kids, you will need to understand that the best age that they should start their English studies is the age of 7 and 8.
Yeah.
7, 8 years old, and that's it. That's going to be the start. Like that's going to start their interest and motivation in learning. And you need to start teaching them, like, as a teacher, you should, like, first of all, give them interaction with English language. You will have to
Mhm.
speak, you will have to communicate, you will have to explain, and then you should expect them to explain you something.
Mhm.
And another hardest part in teaching babies is that they should be motivated all the time. And how are you going to motivate them as a teacher, as an educator? It's just that you will have to learn how to speak in their languages. I
Mhm.
mean, babies have another world. Well, if you're telling a baby, hey, listen, you know what? These stars are so beautiful, and they all represent some amazing, let's say, individuals who passed away. For example, that beautiful star is actually Sophie Loren. And that beautiful star, can you see that the big one, the fat one? Yes, that one is actually Genghis Khan, because
Mhm.
Genghis Khan died. He went there and he decided to what? He decided to watch after us. And now we
Mhm.
should respect our ancestors, our people who passed away previously. And those stars belong to their spirits, the souls. And you know what? The kids are going to believe in you. And if you tell them that keeping, for example, keeping 3 chocolates under your pillow is gonna keep that evil away from you, and
Mhm.
they're gonna believe in that. And that's another easy way of manipulating little kids. And it's the same thing in English language. When you are teaching them, when you want your little kids, little babies, to learn English, you should always create some stories, some achievements, some goals. You should say that, listen, you are going to learn it, and this thing is going to make you special. Believe
Mhm.
me, you're not going to become genius. Don't ever call your babies as genius, because when you call them as genius all the time, they will get used to it. And when they start going to schools, like high schools, and they see other genius, smart people,
Mhm.
and those people stop calling your baby as genius, it's going to kill his motivation. It's going to
Mm.
kill his self-esteem. That's why what you need to say to motivate your little babies is what? Is to tell them, oh my God, you've done a great job. And this
Mhm.
great job makes you special, makes you different, makes
Mhm.
you better than other kids. And then they will try to work even harder and harder and harder. And after working hard
Mm.
for a while, they will finally understand that this thing is giving them like a kind of good progress.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
shifted their English. They have
Yeah.
changed their English skills. Now they are much better than before, and they are going to keep working very hard. This is how you motivate little babies. And yeah, you should go on with them like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It goes until the end. And like including grandmothers and grandfathers, like, at the age of 55 and 60, 65, people can still handle learning English language. Why is it important to learn English language at this age? Come on, they're almost like, they're going to retire very soon. They're going to sit down at home or something. No, they learning English for, let's say, retired people, like let's say in their mid 50s, in their late 50s, it's going to make their brain function even faster, even better. In this way, it's going to avoid a lot of different dangerous diseases. And from that perspective, I believe that even at the age of 50, 55, and 60, learning this language is very important. It's gonna make you better, like in terms of what? In terms of your, like let's say, possible and potential illnesses which are related to your brain. And that's why I believe that this is a great idea, that that you should learn. I have some let's say grandma, grandpa students. They study like one-on-one. Of course, they study very slowly, but the motivation that they have is enormous, is amazing, because these people are learning this language to be better, to get a little healthier, little less fit, in terms of their intellect. I mean, they are all the time, they're trying to keep their brain function. They're trying to think all the time, like switching from Russian language to English, from English to Kazakh language, from Kazakh to Russian language. And these switchings are going to help them a lot in, in terms of making keeping their brains busy. And when the brains are busy, people, they tend to get sick, specifically brain-related diseases. And that's why it is important. Perspective.
Yeah, I like that your point on motivation little children, because you said you mustn't tell them that they're a genius. You have to make a point on their hard work. That hard work, yeah. I think it's not it is not good only for for children. It will helpful for everyone at every age.
Yeah.
It's a really good point. It's really good.
Yeah,
point.
You should tell them. You should motivate people. You should motivate people with the hard work. I mean, you should tell them that oh my God, you've done a great job. You've done a hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you worked very hard, and this thing already makes you special. It doesn't matter what kind of result they have at the end. It doesn't matter. I mean, maybe they cannot achieve whatever they were expecting at the end, but the motivation that they get only for working hard is going to make them, want to work harder and harder. Because right now you cannot just tell them like as if you are educating animals. Like if you are coming up to a monkey, if you want this monkey to do what you want him to do, then you will have to give him all the time a chocolate, all the time, like let's say an apple, and this monkey is going to focus on that food. And he will just keep repeating this thing all the time, nonstop, focusing on that food. And when you stop giving this food, this monkey is going to stop learning. And the same thing with the kids. I mean, you should not tell the kids all the time, you are genius, you are brilliant, because what? Because at one point in the future, at university, at school, they will meet other genius people, and the class and their teachers are going to stop calling them as genius, like their parents used to call them. And from that perspective, they will start getting a little bit more nervous, and then they will not want to make mistakes, because if they make mistakes, they will look stupid, and then other people might think that they are not genius anymore. I mean, these kids are not genius anymore, and that's why they are afraid of this. They are afraid of making mistakes. That's why we have all of these students. They are afraid of making mistakes. They are afraid of talking, during their classes.
I call it good mark students, like the students who wants to get only good marks, only good points. Yeah,
that's wrong motivation. You will have to motivate people by what? By being able to work hard.
Yeah,
Because for
right.
some people, like let's say everybody is different. Everybody has different potentials. Like let's say if someone is like, let's say literally he's a fish, yes, he has the abilities of fish, while another one has the ability of eagle, yes, like flying.
Yeah,
You cannot expect this fish to fly higher, and you cannot expect this eagle to swim deeper. It's impossible. And that's why you will have to what, you will have to find something like, let's say general, something which is a common. And the best common way, in my opinion, and like, based on my experience, I would say that you should motivate them using their like, let's say, work ethics. And
yeah,
while they are working very hard, they are trying to do the things properly, and they start like, getting good progress. Like, look at Chinese kids. I mean, Chinese children. They are monsters. They have been working hard all their lives. Why? Because they are a lot. There are a lot of
yeah,
Chinese people there, and if you don't work hard, then what? You're gonna lose this Charles Darwin's game, survival of the
yeah,
fittest.
yeah, yeah, right.
You will lose it, and that's it. Game over, and you will never be better in the future. And that's why these kids have been working super duper hard since the beginning of their, let's say,
Yeah.
school years,
Hmm.
and so on. And they always work hard all the
Yeah,
time. And you can watch these things on YouTube and all other platforms, how Chinese kids differ from other kids in the world.
yeah.
And
There's
that's why I believe that, work ethics are very important, that, to be motivated as like as a good tool to improve their, let's say, to improve their
all skills, I think. It will
yeah, like
improve
skill
all skills.
themselves.
Yeah,
Yes.
it will make them like better in everything where is it
Yeah.
involved. And I think, as you said about Chinese kids, we have to
Yeah.
make it something like this in our country. And a bit, we're out of time, but I have a last question for today.
Yeah.
Last
Yeah. Yeah.
question. I know you are
Okay.
very smart. I know you are like you know every, yeah. I know you're very experienced. But what
Here is,
uh,
yeah.
what admires me, what admire me in yourself is your motivation. Tell me, how do you get that motivation? How do you get that energy within you?
Yeah.
What is your
Well,
inspiration?
inspiration. Well, I would say that there are two actually major, let's say, factors which motivate me all the time.
Yeah,
First of all, is the family.
yeah,
Why? Why is it family?
yeah. I
First of
remember.
all, I would say that let's
Mhm,
imagine that we have a girl. The
mhm,
girl's name is Aygerim, and Aygerim loves Azamat. And believe me, Aygerim loves her parents as well, her mom,
uh-huh,
her dad. But loving Azamat gives her a lot of like these sweet feelings.
mhm,
And while Aygerim has Azamat as her motivation,
mhm.
she's a monster. She's the best of the best in the world. She wants to destroy everything for the sake of Azamat, yes? And at the
Yeah.
same time, Azamat wants to do the same thing, but but in any case, the world is changing. Yes, sometimes girls love boys, but more than boys love girls. Sometimes
Yeah, it's
boys
crazy.
love girls traditionally, like, more than
Yeah.
the other ones do. So let's just imagine that Aygerim loves Azamat so much, but after 6 months, Aygerim finally realizes that Azamat is not a good guy. Azamat is a horrible guy, and Aygerim stops loving Azamat. That's it. Azamat says goodbye to Aygerim. Aygerim says goodbye to Azamat. And
Uh-huh.
what's going to happen to Aygerim? Aygerim is going to be depressed for 1, 2, 3 months, and that's going to kill her motivation. She doesn't want to work hard anymore. She doesn't want to,
Mm-hmm.
how can I say, she doesn't want to improve herself. And
Mm-hmm.
she needs to find another motivation source, maybe Jaguar, maybe Jean Bolat, yes, I don't know. So
Yeah.
the thing is, well, if Aygerim focused on her parents as the source of motivation from the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, it's something like similar to the situation of water and Pepsi. Pepsi is so sweet. You want to drink it again and again. But
Mm-hmm,
as you
mm-hmm.
more, the more you drink Pepsi, the more Pepsi you drink, the more
You won't.
danger you get. Yes, the more it damages your health.
Mm-hmm.
But when you drink water, it cleanses you. It removes all these impurities, all these
Yeah,
problems out of your body. And
yeah.
the thing is, same thing with Aigerim. If she starts focusing on her love, like let's say, like the on this Azamat or Aigeri, Azamat, Jiger, Jean Bolat as the source of motivation, this motivation will sometimes go up and sometimes it will go down.
Yeah,
But if she
you're right.
focuses on her motivation, I mean, if she focuses on her family as her motivation, then
Mm-hmm.
believe me that this family's love is not gonna end ever. I mean, she's not
Mm-hmm.
gonna hate her mom. She's not gonna hate her dad forever.
Mm-hmm.
Never. I mean, impossible, right?
Yeah,
So
you're
the
right.
thing is, every single hard work you do to grow, to get better, to learn. I mean, to take some exams. Yes, if you link all the success to your parents that you are doing for them, that you are fighting for them, that it's boring and you're doing this and you have to do this because of your mom and dad, then
Mm-hmm.
believe me, you will never wish to stop. And the second factor to motivate yourself is to play a game. First of
Mm-hmm.
all, when you are playing a game, you never want to lose. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
somebody's getting more coins than you do. You will say what? You will say, "Oh my God, I am a loser. I'm such a pathetic loser. I don't want to be a loser. Let me try to work hard. Let me try to play harder. I mean, better. I will
And kick
watch
his
videos
ass.
yes, I will learn some some new techniques, tricks,
Yeah,
watching YouTube or reading some other books, but I'm gonna be a better player. And that
like
thing is
Michael Jordan did.
definitely not
Definitely.
only Michael Jordan,
But the best champions.
Cristiano Ronaldo, and many other players. I mean,
Yeah,
not players, but people, individuals. Thomas Edison and Tesla, uh,
yeah.
and for example, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates
Bill
and many
Gates.
other
Yeah,
people in the world. They actually what? Like, for example, do you remember Adidas and Puma? And
yeah.
so these brothers, I mean, all of these people, they were what? They were competing with each other. They never wanted to be a loser, and that's why they were working hard. And this competition actually has made our lives better and better. I mean, year by year. So
Yeah,
that's
you're right.
why, if you take it from that perspective, I mean, a lot of people ask me, Abid, how can you keep teaching nonstop? I mean, all the time. Well, because I want to be a better teacher. I want to be better than others. I mean, it's a game for me. I mean, I will always try to find some other good teachers
Mm-hmm.
to focus on, and I try to be better than them. It doesn't mean I hate them. It means I love them because those teachers make me better, and
Yeah.
I keep growing, and it makes me better. It makes me stronger. And from that perspective, if you keep these two motivational factors like family, loving your family so much that for the sake of your family, you are ready to do everything
Mm-hmm.
possible in this life. And the
Mm-hmm.
second thing is what? The second thing is competition. So in terms of
Mm-hmm.
families, you can easily look at your dads. I mean, people can easily look at their dads, and their dads are not sleeping days and nights. They're doing their best to work hard. So
Mm-hmm.
their little kids can have a good education, good life, good living standards, good clothes, and so on, so on. Why? It's all for the sake of the family.
Yeah.
If your dad can fight for the sake of his family so hard, for the sake of you so hard, why can't you fight for the sake of your dad so hard that you can become a better person, that you can develop yourself?
Mm.
I mean, these motivations are going to help you a lot in life if you focus on them properly, because I
Yeah.
believe that these are not like Azamat, Jean Bolat, or Jiger, but
Yeah.
these are like mom and
Yeah.
dad, who you can never hate in this life.
You're right. Definitely right. It's amazing, bro. It's amazing. Yeah. So Abid, I guess it was a very very useful, very inspirational, and like every single word was very good, very well
It's my
said. Yeah, I mean it was my
my
honor
pleasure.
to have you as a guest today, as my
No,
first guest.
the honor is mine. The honor is mine. Thank you so much, Adam.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
so much.
There is There are a lot of things what I want to say, what I want to share. There are a lot of things what my followers wants to hear from you. I'm sure that they will. And but for today, I think it's enough. Let's see what will happen when we post it. I guess like I think Outbreaks will be very good. And thank you, Abid. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure is mine, and pleasure is mine. So, looking forward to seeing you again. Have a good day, sir.
Yeah, have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, bro. Wow, it was amazing. I was just shocked. Even he's very smart. He is very kind. He's a good guy. And I hope followers also enjoy this conversation. Bye bye.